Welcome to the Value Dude, the best value in DFS. Today's video features 5 DraftKings value picks for the 2021 World Golf Championship at TPC Southwind. We'll also feature a full course overview, our 5 key stat categories to focus on for research, and we'll have 3 contrarian picks this week to gain leverage on the competition in GPP, so stay tuned. And so as we close out the 2021 tour season, we have a couple events left. This week's is the 2021 World Golf Championship, TPC Southwind, Memphis, Tennessee. We have a par 70, 7,238 yards, dwarf Bermuda grass greens. This typically plays longer than the yardage would indicate, and we are highlighted with thin fairways and small greens. TPC Southwind has the most water balls and the most holeouts over the past 11 tour seasons. Off the tee, it requires drivers to be long and straight. Approach, simply put, extremely precise. Over the past 11 tournaments, the scoring average has been negative 12.5 for the winner. So we have a much sterner test than we've been accustomed to over the previous weeks on tour. There's been one common theme here for the winners, and that is staying dry. If you can keep your ball out of the water this week and score well, you give yourself a chance to win. The weather this week will be in the high 80s to the mid 90s, and there's currently nothing but sunshine throughout, so we should have a great forecast for some great golf. This week we have 66 players and no cut. Keep that in mind. We lock again at Thursday at 6 a.m. And now that we have a course layout, we've got our 5 key stat categories to focus on, and these will be focusing on thin fairways, small greens. Let's roll. We've got number 1, ball striking. This is a combination of strokes gained off the tee plus approach. This is a recurring theme in top 10s here at TPC Southwind. We need precision, accuracy, and precision and distance off the tee. So ball striking encompasses all of that and is one of the most important categories this week. Number 2, strokes gained tee to green. This drills down ball striking a little more. You'll see a lot of layover in players from both categories, and this is the second most predictive of winners here at TPC Southwind. And number 3, strokes gained approach. Precision iron play is key yet again this week. The range that you should focus in on, if you want to drill down a little further, is 150 to 175 yards, but being accurate on approach is key yet again this week. Number 4, par 4 scoring 450 to 500 yards. These will be the most challenging holes this week, and we cannot lose strokes on these holes. We need a golfer that scores well in this category, so number 4 is par 4 scoring 450 to 500 yards. Number 5, bogey avoidance. Birdies are going to be much harder to come by this week than we've seen on previous week, and especially more disastrous will be bogeys. We have to avoid them this week, and number 5, our final category, is bogey avoidance. And if you do want to take your research any further this week, our 6th category we could add as an extra would be scrambling if you need to make any decisions between 2 golfers. And before we get to our value picks, I just want to talk briefly about DraftKings value or lack thereof. There's not a lot of obvious value this week. There are some players that are standing out, but I think it's important for us to rotate some lower-owned players in and out and gain some leverage yet again this week. So let's get right to our value picks. We'll kick it off this week at 8,500 with Webb Simpson. He's 31st in ball striking, he's 1st in bogey avoidance, and he's 1st in scrambling. He's also played 24 rounds at TPC Southwind, and he's got a strokes gained average of 1.32 per round. So that's very solid, and he's returning to form. I think Webb Simpson should be about $400 to $500 higher on DraftKings, and at 8,500 we can gain some value. He's our first pick this week. Number 2 is Corey Connors, 8,100 on DraftKings. He's 4th in ball striking, 13th strokes gained tee to green, 9th in approach, and 34th in bogey avoidance. He's hitting on a lot of categories highly this week. I think he does a solid performance at 8,100, and we gain tremendous value on DraftKings. Number 3, Jason Kokrak, 7,800 on DraftKings. He's 9th in ball striking. He's 24th in par 4, scoring 450 to 500 yards. He's 52nd in tee to green. He's also 57th in approach, and for that field this week, it's pretty high, and he's got great form this year. I'd venture to say some of the best of his career, and I think he's a great value this week at 7,800 on DraftKings. Number 4, Sergio Garcia, 7,300 on DraftKings. He's 7th in ball striking, and he's moved up from 18th to 10th strokes gained tee to green. He's also up from 61st to 50th in strokes gained approach, and he's up from 68th to 53rd in bogey avoidance. Now, this late in the year, jumps like that are notable. Sergio Garcia has had a solid season. He's a great ball striker, and we can see he's gaining in these other categories, so I think he's a great play at 7,300 on DraftKings. And our final value pick this week is Sam Burns, 6,900. He's back. Another great value this week in the same price range is Ian Poulter at $70K, but he's going to garner higher ownership, and when that's the case, I tend to side with the golfer who's going to be a little less owned. This week, Sam Burns is coming in a little less owned. He's 21st in approach. He's 43rd strokes gained tee to green. He's 40th in ball striking. And I'm going to take the $100 savings and the less ownership for my final value pick this week on DraftKings, Sam Burns, 6,900. And that brings us to our contrarian plays. We need to gain leverage. GPPs is where it's at. So let's start it off this week. Cheap, 6,700. DraftKings Cam Champ showing 8% ownership. Now that could go up throughout the week, so we need to keep an eye on that percentage. Right now, as it stands, he's a great play. He's got a very complete bag, minus the putter. But the last 2 weeks, 11th place finish, first place finish, had a red hot putter. If he can ride that putter this week, 6,700 is going to be a tremendous value and tremendous leverage at 8% ownership on DraftKings. Number 2, Lucas Glover, 6,400 on DraftKings, 44th strokes gained tee to green, 50th in approach from 150 to 175 yards, that key approach distance this week. He's got solid course history, he's got a recent win, and he's too cheap and going too low owned at 6,400 on DraftKings, Lucas Glover. And our final contrarian pick this week is Aaron Ray, 6,300 on DraftKings. Similarly priced to Martin Laird. I think he's also a good play, but Aaron Ray's indicators and stats were sticking out. He's 22nd in approach according to European Tour stats. He's also second in bogeys per round. He only averages 2.2 bogeys per round on tour in the European Tour. He's an accurate driver. He's had 3 PGA Tour starts, and he's got top 20s in 2 out of 3. So it's been proven that he can contend with some of the world's best, and he's going to be out there this week in the World Golf Championship. I think 6,300 is a steal, and that leverage is going to be tremendous on DraftKings. And so this week, we've got 8 picks for you. We've got 5 value picks. We've got 3 contrarian picks. Get those golfers rotating in and out of your builds. We will get you additional value. I apologize, we don't have a very long list, but we've got a 66-player field, and I don't think it's efficient to give you guys too many golfers and too much information. It could be information overload. So we've cut down our list. We'll continue to increase that number and bring it back down with the size of the field. And I encourage you guys to stick with me to football. We'll be taking some weeks off coming up soon so I can prepare for football, but it's going to be great. Please like, subscribe, kick ass this week at TPC Southwind. Good luck.